Hey, it's Mark Leonard with your video thought for the day. All right, I'm talking about science and faith this week. And right now, I'm in Midtown Manhattan. I'm on like Lexington and about 44th Street, 45th maybe. And I'm up on I think the 14th floor of this building. I'm looking out here. Look at that building. It's kind of got these little, let me see if I can get my finger right. See these little things on this building? It's not gargoyles. I think they're like little rosettes or something. But if you start looking up at this building, let me see if I can do this where I'm not gone out of the picture. You start looking up, you start seeing all this almost like, Art Deco type stuff. Like, what is that? That's some kind of pineapple or flying saucer coming out of the sky. And we got this like more stuff up here. There's some gargoyle or somebody winged, maybe that's a winged eagle. I don't know, but I'd love to find out who designed this building, because I think I could learn a lot about them. You can even see, like, I don't know if you can see it here, but let me see. On these panels, there's some type of metal in those panels there. And it's just kind of cool. And I'd love to know about the person who designed that building. I think they'd be very interesting to talk to. Well, in the same way, at night or during the day, you might look up in the sky. I'll tell you this, the psalmist did thousands of years ago and wrote a psalm that we call Psalm 19. And Psalm 19 begins to say, the heavens declare the glory of God, and the sky above proclaims his handiwork. And the Hebrew word that's translated handiwork is just yad. It's the hand. But the hand was symbolic for the work that's done by the hand. It was kind of a metaphor back in biblical times. And the psalmist continues and says, day to day pours out speech, and night to night reveals knowledge. And the idea behind this psalm is a little bit about like what I was doing with the building. And it fits in with the science and faith theme that we're talking about this week. It's that when you see the glories of the universe, they're actually shouting at you that there's a God here. There is a God who's responsible for this stuff. And that when we see these things and we think about them and we learn about them, we're learning about God. Now that's crazy. Now there's not one way to learn about God. There are a number of ways to learn about God. We learn about God in our experience in this life, but we can learn about God in the handiwork, in the things that he's made. And of course, the greatest knowledge we've got is through his revelation of himself, which is Scripture and also Jesus, God made flesh. So we can learn about God in these different ways, but I think we need to always remember when we see something spectacular, we should want to learn more about it if we want to know about the one responsible. Now, why does this matter? If you go back and read Psalm 19, the psalmist then talks about, from a human perspective, that God created this tent across the sky and that the sun rises at one end and makes its course across the tent. And the psalmist didn't have the science we've got now to understand the tent or the atmosphere, if you will. The sun's actually beyond the atmosphere, and it's the earth spinning around the sun that gives this appearance that the psalmist is able to say. But without understanding our science, what the psalmist did understand is that the responsible one behind this is the one who gets the glory by the niceness and the beauty and the wonderment of this world. Now, I love science because now we can look at the sun and we've learned in greater detail how it's really shouting on volume 100 the glory of God, because it's this firing inferno of nuclear fusion that's letting off heat and light waves that enable our life to exist. And if it wasn't just in the manner it was, with our planet just where it is, none of us would be here. The handiwork of God is amazing and shouts at his care and concern for all of humanity. Now here's the rub. You're a human. So am I. This God, whose handiwork spans the universe, loves you and made this so that you'd be here right now hearing this message. Pretty incredible. And that's your video thought for today.